These three cheetah ride on lawnmowers. Bloke reckons this one here goes. This one here, you can see the pull starter's ripped down it. It doesn't feel like the pull starter stuff though. And this one here's got a good pull starter, but instead the motor was seized. So we'll probably swap this pull starter over, maybe into this one, or we're going to take this one out and have a look. They're very greasy, as you can see. Don't really want to be sticking my hand on there and doing too much work. And this one's just a spare. This one's got a good deck on it. I'm going to take the deck off that one and swap it over. This one's been welded and had repairs. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this deck. Like, it's not too bad, but it's had repairs and stuff, and I don't like it that much. That's what they look like in the front. As you can see, this one's been sitting around a while. These two here are in good condition. I'm going to swap these tyres. Probably swap this tyre here. Swap this tyre, put it onto this one because this one's bald. Vice versa, like that. Stuff like that. These tyres are good. All the back tyres are good actually. They're all got good tread on them. These ones here are a little bit down. Just think they've been because they've been sitting. And yeah, so this one apparently runs. I don't know if this was the original hose here. It looks like this could be the original fuel hose here. As you can see, the coil wire is absolutely rooted. And it does have a battery in it too, but it doesn't start. Just give you a look. It just clicks. So I'd suggest it might have a bad solenoid. I'll have to test the battery in it and see what's going on with that. This one here doesn't have a battery, but it's got all the components in it, which is good. And this one's the same. It's got all its components in it too, which ain't missing nothing. This one's missing the carbs on the side of it. This one's a different style of exhaust. That one, when you look at this one, you'd think it's busted. It might have like a little spark arrestor or something on the outside of it here, but there's nothing wrong with that muffler. This muffler is burned out though. It's rusty out. That muffler there is exactly the same one as on the one it was running, or one that's running these days. I do sort of believe him really, because you know, it looks like it. They look like a well-built lawnmower. They don't look like they're built like junk. They're made in New Zealand. King Cat. See, look at that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Manufactured by King Cat Industries, Kata, New Zealand. I can tell you something right now. I've been working on a few lawnmowers over the years, and I tell you, a lot of them are pieces of shit, but when you see the steering in these lawnmowers, there's nothing shit about these. Check these out. Got grease nipples and bushes and everything in them. I mean, how good's that? They even look like they've been greased up all the time. I think this one here, by the looks of it, it's got a bad wheel bearing. Just by the look at that. But I'll have a wheel bearing off this one here for that. So that's good. The only reason I got them is because it's free moulds. I'm going to try and get 2 out of them, 2 going, and good. This one here, got good compression. One to go on then. That's a bonus. But yeah, I'll give them the degrees up. Just in the pump bottle here. give them all degrees. We'll start on it. We'll probably work on the one that's going first. It's got a battery and stuff in it. I'll probably work on this one, the first one. Alright, now I've finished washing them. This is the one that wanted to go. We have a look at this. So this is doing everything that runs. Spins. This one doesn't look like it needs much work, so we'll put it up and we'll have a look at the blade. Alright, we've got this mower up. I've disconnected the spark plug lead, so it won't start. Got myself a spanner here. Size the nut. What is it, 14 mil? Yep, 14 mil looks like we go. To clamp this. What's going on here is this cutting edge is facing that way. The deck spins this way. The outside of the wrong side of the blade's worn down. They put the blades on the mower back to front. That's why it's not cutting. See this edge here? The deck spins this way, clockwise, around like that. And you can see that's where the blade's been wearing. But look, that's the cutting edge. They put the blades on back to front. So I don't know what they was doing, this person. But we can assure them that they don't have not much idea what they was doing. And I reckon when they put the blades on back to front, that you'd think to yourself, why isn't it cutting very good? But you know, this is what people are like. So hopefully we can just turn the blades around. We might be able to still keep using these. I've already wrecked them by trying to mow the grass with them, but we might be able to save them because they're definitely got a good edge on them, and they'll still cut. Whoops. It's a little bit dirty. That goes on here. So what we need to do is take the blade off and turn it around. Check this out. This is the cutting edge, and that's what had been cutting on the side of it. I don't know how that you could put the blade on the wrong way, but that's what they're like. So what we're going to do is turn the blade around so the blade faces that way, spins this way, and it'll be on the cutting edge. You can see they've been running over quite a bit of stuff, because a normal blade on it, these will still work. They're this mower here, this is the only key part of it that it actually cuts. This piece here, the rest of it won't. This is the back of it, so this will be good to put back on and save these. It's just a waste of time changing them. So what we're going to do is put it back on here, we're just going to make sure that was this is the correct way you put it on, like that. We've got to put our tension washer back in there, which I even think they had that around the wrong way too, because it didn't have no tension. The blade was a little bit loose, but loose is alright with these blades because these are a spinning blade, so if they hit something solid, that's alright. They'll bend around. Like, I'll show you when I get this back on. And they're missing the holder too. It's supposed to be on the back of it. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. I'm thinking I've got one of them junk ones over there. Don't know. I think I might just leave that off, and I'll just use the moulder grips to do them up. We've got to make sure this blade's going to be flush, so it's not flush. We can't use it without that hole. So we'll see if we can get it flush first. If your blade can't move like that, it's not right. So now we've got the cutting edge, the deck spins that way, this garbage is behind. Now we've got another blade, they've done the same thing, they put it on the wrong way. I don't know how they got that chip in there, because the blade don't spin backwards. I don't know how they got that. That's another one. Second blade put on there backwards. I did have it on the grass over there before I brought it over here. What's the spin? I did have the mower going on the grass. Like, I didn't film it, but just to see if it would cut before I lifted it up to see what it was doing. And yeah, it's not cutting. So we know why it's not cutting, because it doesn't cut when the blade's back to front. I just think that when people do stuff, they don't. Oh, Jesus! Am I going to get this off? Come on! If I can't get this off, I'll be wrecked. I have to grind it. Because that's what you normally do with these old blades, but these aren't that old. And he's been trying to mow grass with it. I'm surprised he didn't, the bloke I work on didn't work it out. Maybe he put them on there. Maybe. It's no big deal. They put the tension washer in the wrong spot too. See that? This tension washer, look, it's even worn it a bit. This is supposed to go on the inside of the blade, and then in there like that. That's to tension it. So they've put that on back to front. So what we've got to do is take this off. They've worn it down a bit, they've used it a bit, but look at that. The cutting edge of the blade's still new, but it's got a chip out of it. Maybe they was driving it along and they hit a rock or something with it when it wasn't going. But that should be alright though. We'll turn that around so it goes on there like this. And they got good life left in them yet. Especially when the end of it, the cutting part of it, it will affect it a little bit, that, but it shouldn't be too bad, don't it? I don't really want to go and grind it. I've made the choice. I'm going to put a set on it. A set of new blades. I grinded it down. Like, I mean, it looks alright in that, but I'm losing a bit of blade here, and it's only going to be a bit swinging around on it. And it's no big deal for me to. It's a shame really, because this blade here is not as worn down as much. Like it did have a bit of a lip on it where it was pushing out there, and what I was thinking is I've got some new blades. I think I'm just going to put the new blades on it and be done with it. It's a shame really, because they put these on the wrong way and they've worn down it's got a bit of a lip on the end of it which drives out air, and because this don't have the lip no more, it's not going to be pushing out the grass very good. On here. Got two blades. It shows you how to set them up too. You put your bolt, your blade, the tension washer, and that's your blade carrier, and then a washer that locks and the nut, and that's exactly what it looks like here, except this tension washer, your blade, and then that little black tension washer. I'll show you what you do. It's easy to get these mixed up too. See, what you do is you put this in here and you got your tension washer, drop your tension washer, and then that goes in here, which I've got it the right weight on it. I'll have to check first, make sure it's spinning right. Yep. Down on here. Got to make sure it's sitting all in there in the holder properly. Make sure this is clean too, because if this has got any crap on it, it won't sit the blade on there. On here, make sure that's clean. Right, put this on, the washer, and then your nut. I do kind of like it when someone's already had the blades off not long ago, because the reason why is if someone hasn't had the blades off in a long time, you've got to get the grinder out and cut them off. It's a lot of work. Like, I mean, I know it doesn't sound like a lot of work, but you know what I mean? It's a lot of work when you've got to grind that sort of crap off. And you're not supposed to do these up tight either, because the design of it is that when it hits something solid, it can move. I'll do it up just a little bit more. And it's got a nylon nut. It's a nylon nut on the back of it. I'll show you when I do this other one. But this is how they're supposed to move. This will loosen up a little bit when it gets going. So I can move it with my hand, which is good. Alright, we've got our next one. That was a nylon nut I was talking about. It's got a piece of plastic ring on it that locks the nut on there. Make sure this is clean too. Make sure we're putting our blade on the right way, because the mower spins that way, so the cutting edge has got the blade's going around like that. They had the blade like this. They had the blade sitting on there like that. I'll show you. That was how they had it. It should have been turned around like this. So when we go to put it on there, put bolt through, get the tension washer, drop it on there, put it through the blade carrier itself, washer, which locks the nut, and your Nilex nut. It's got the piece of plastic ring around the end of it, so when you do it up, it's a bit like just jams it on the thread. Do they work? They do, but they don't work if you unscrew them multiple times. They're really made to do up once. You can take them back off, but they're only a one-purpose use. I'll show you why I'm using multi grips in a minute too, so you can all see. I'll actually show you why. Yep, that's nice. And if they're a little bit crooked, if they're like this, don't worry, when the carrier starts up, they'll come out to their straight like that. So if they're not in line, they will be when it gets running with some speed. And I'll show you why I'm using them, why I'm using these holders here. The reason why I'm using them multi grips is this is the old holder that was originally on the back of this, and what it does is this bolt, it's got a slit in the side of it, and when you thread it through, when you actually thread that through there, that actually locks this in place while you're doing up the nut so it doesn't turn. Well, these are come off this deck, and these other ones are locking in there, and I can just hold this with a pair of multi grips and do them up, and that's why I'm using the multi grips for it. Alright, gotta have a good multimeter in. This is a good multimeter, this one. Put it on. Says we got 12.30, 12.4 volts. It's got a couple of bolts in there, so what we're going to have to do is take the positive off the battery, because we don't earth out nothing here. So we're going to disconnect it. Oh my god, that's how they've hooked this battery up. They've used like a self-tapper. Oh Jesus, just when you think they've seen everything. Oh my god, they used a self-tapper. Jesus. Why would you use that? Because they had lugs on here, and there'd be a flat bar, it'd come up and it'd have a hole through it, and that obviously never fit, so they grinded this off. They put self-tappers in it. I mean, people just got no idea what they're doing. I mean, there's no reason for this to be so long. I mean, they shouldn't even have done it like this. I suppose the seat wouldn't shut with the battery. And that's why. The good old self-tapper, eh? Alright, I'm gonna have to find a small, it's got a nut, two nuts on both of these bolts that hold this solenoid in, and when I find the tool, I'll undo them and I'll bring this back. I've got to put the spark plug lead back on. Let's just try that again. Just drop something across here. Shut off for some reason. The battery is not charging on it. So, you try and start it back up. Oh, bloody spark plug leads come off. It's so loose. That's what's going on with it. I'm going to have to put another lead on that. Bend that in with a pair of pliers and put a cap on it. That's what's going on with that. This could be something to do with ignition. Solenoid stuff. We're going to have to clamp that up properly. I'll get to fix that shortly. What I'll do is, I'll take the solenoid out of this one. I've just unbolted it. And we'll throw this solenoid in that one. And we'll see if we get it going. So, I'll unbolt this and we'll swap it over. And we'll put this one on here and we'll see what happens in. And when I do that, I'll bring this back. Alright, before we change this solenoid, I just want to check some of this wiring. Because I need to make sure that we've got 12 volts here, because it could be a bad ignition. I don't want to be swapping and changing parts until I 100% know. So, what I'll do is yep, this is the ignition wire here. No, you can see that or not. Got 12.47 volts. I'll take that off and I'll bring it over here and we'll hook it up. Alright, I've got this solenoid down the seized up right on. And I don't know if this one's any good or not. It's hard to say. what we'll do is, I'm going to try it anyway. But I've got to be a bit careful because I've got the battery still hooked up. I've got to unhook the battery first. Too worried about it, I'm going to. What have I done with that spin? Oh, there it is. Disconnect it completely. Just worried about if I might earth it out. Solenoids always go bad in these ride-ons. It's not uncommon for them to crap themselves. This goes to the positive side of it, so we've got to make sure. Sorry about that bit of crap that come out. However, we've got to make sure. What have I done with it? Oh, I've dropped it down there. Got to make sure these two stay together. This is the plus side. The other side is a negative, but I need to find the right nut, and it's missing it. So I might have to go and look, see if I can. I might have to look at the other mower what I got, see if I can get a nut or find one. Alright, I've got a nut for it. These one's an earth and one's a starter switch, but it doesn't really matter which way they go because one's just earthing and one's just working the solenoid. So oh yeah, and the wiring but someone's down there. We'll have to. Just 10 mil. What I might have to do is buy another one of these cheap solenoids and just be done with it. I think it looks good and stuff. Now, will they go on here? What I'm going to actually do here, I've got the solenoid, I'm going to actually earth it to the frame. I'm going to put this bolt in it for a bit. Shit, that's why you shouldn't have the starter hooked up. I should have disconnected the battery, but what I'm going to do is I'm temporarily hooking up here. Earth. Mowers too. This positive wire is too short, so it's obviously been cut some time because it's on the right one. There's just no room for it. So let's hit the key. Make sure there's nothing on here. We'll see if she'll crank over. But I can't leave it like this. This is no good. This looks bloody hideous. So it's gonna have to be pulled back off. Can't leave this on here. It's got to sit in them two holes. We'll unbolt it back off here. So the old junk solenoid works off the spare mower. That's good. And it works off the key too. You definitely don't want to go earthing the wire like that. You want to earth it off the body. That wire I had on there, it was just thin, it wasn't even in there properly. So what I'll do is I'll unconnect this. I got a funny feeling that because they dodged up this switch, that the electrical system runs through that switch. That's how it works. That's what I'm thinking of at the moment. But I'm gonna have to do something about this because this is no good. Can't leave this in there. Pull this back out. Luckily I've got a couple other mowers. I can check that ignition switch and see if they've mixed up the wires or something too. What they've actually done, because it looks like they've only taken one wire off it, which is the kill wire. I don't know why that's so bloody tight. Oh, I know why. They got it wrapped around there. Around the throttle. We're not going to worry about that at the moment. I'm going to have to take this off and get a longer one, because this is a no-go. This is in the way. And when I find another one that, I'll bring this back and I'll find a couple of bolts for this holes. This has got to be fixed properly. I can't just have one bolt sitting in there. I'm going to do that. We'll move on to that. You poke the bolt in there first with my hand, and I'll put the nut on the top, the washer and the nut on the top. I've got the washer and nut here. I'll poke the bolt through so it sticks out, and I'll screw that on. Then I've got to reach back with the spanner and try and get this to do this up. I'll see what a pain that is. But after I've done that, I'll bring this back. Alright, I've got the two bolts in. It took me a couple of minutes. I've got the hang of it a bit now, how they work, the bolts. So what I've got to do now is, where is the terminal? Down here. Now the terminal ain't stretched. It is a little bit still. Hasn't got no pressure on it though. Alright. This one wants cutting off too, before I do anything. I bet this one's as long as the other one. Some people are real hillbillies. Looks like it's been mangled up a bit. I'll go and chop that off and make it a lot shorter. And when I do that, we'll put it back in. Alright, I chopped it off. I've never seen this ever. Of all the mowers and that I've worked on, I've never seen someone do this. Rightio. This wire off this switch. Just have a look. That brown wire there. I've got a switch on here. And the brown wire goes to the bottom. So there's a grey wire. It's supposed to be on the top of that switch. You know, white, red and grey. And the brown's on the bottom. So grey, red and white. Not grey, red and white, yep. And the brown wire, this brown wire here, it's supposed to go. On the bottom. Switch looks like it's back to front. That's what I reckon. The switch is turned around. Get the 3 prongs at the top on that one. That switch is the white, grey and red and brown on the bottom. I can't really read that shit because it's in there. But the grey, 3 prongs in it. That one's 3 prongs, yep. So that looks like it's not even wired up correctly. Interesting. We'll just get a little bit of red wire. We only want to make it real short. So what we'll do is a pair of cutters. We need to strip it. We need one of these. One of these terminals, and we need to crimp it. Just like that. Put that in there. And we need an eye for the battery. Just one of them. That's it. Need it under the battery. Make sure you don't touch nothing. Earth it out. Keep it away from any metal, which I should have been undoing it this way to the side. So to fix this little charging problem, put that on the battery. back through there. Right, we've got this back on the battery. Now, let's start it up. The only thing it's not doing is turning off by the key when you go to shut it down. Alright, so what I've worked out with the wiring is that the grey and the red is the ignition switch in the middle. So you can actually crank that. And that will stop it. If you clip it on there, what it is we've got a bad earth, that's what I've worked out, that comes from the back of the motor. I'll show you. Take it around and show you. That brown wire here is earth, and that also goes to this top of your switch. The red's the power, the grey wire is to activate your solar when you turn it on, and the bottom wire, this red one, that's the earth. So what they did, they put this switch on here to stop it. Then they put a rivet on there to earth it, to kill the motor. But now it will start off the key. And this switch, because we disconnected it, And you can also start it by the pull cord. And you just, obviously you've got to have the ignition on to start it. So what we need to do is, and there's no wiring diagrams on there anywhere I can find about it, so I had to work this out myself. This yellow wire here that comes off the this white wire, that white wire there comes off the starter. That's directly off the magneto inside here. That's got to be hooked up to the battery. Because they had the wiring so wrong that there was actually earthing out on the magneto wire when I started. They had the wires really mixed up. And I've got another mower over there with the wires that are really mixed up too, the same as this. So now I've figured out this one here, the wiring's supposed to go. Should make it easy for me to work that way. I need to get rid of this switch though. This is just a joke. That on-off switch. Let's get rid of that now. That does work, that switch. But you should, whenever you have a problem with turning off the mower, don't go putting these switches on there like this shit. You got to make sure you find the problem, if that makes sense, because you start putting this stuff on you, you're messing all the wiring up. Then your mower doesn't charge, and you know, this is what happens. So we'll remove that, get rid of this. And get a battery too. Make sure you get a battery that fits the mower. Don't go using self-tapper roofing screws and screwing into the lead of the battery. You know, if that battery was too big and I brought that, I would have laid that battery over. I would have put it on its side, because this is a sealed battery. Obviously you couldn't cut the bottom out of it because it's, you'd be, you know, that's not going to be possible. But this would have had a real low flat top battery. And like obviously if you had a four-wheeler quad bike or something, what I mean. Don't ever go buying these piece of shit batteries here. This SSB. Them batteries are a piece of shit. These motor batteries, they're a piece of shit. These batteries didn't even last 12 months. And yeah, they're just rubbish. Don't ever buy these for a quad bike, ride on lawnmower or anything, even though they might be 60, 70 bucks. Don't go waste your money on them. Keep away from them. Alright, I'm going to drill this rivet out, what they've put in here, over here. Pull this wire off the bottom. I'm going to fix this properly, because this is going to stuff up sometime. I've got a drill. Drill bit. Drill the rivet out. Just had to get it off the drill bit. Rightio. Now, as you know, this wire's long enough. So what I'm going to do is I drill holes through everything. I don't really want to go putting any more holes in it. Got myself a boldy. By the looks of it, I can thread the bolt onto it. I do have heaps of terminals. Got heaps of terminals in here for it if I need one. But what I have to do is drill that hole a little bit bigger. So I'll do that. If it's going to be big enough for me. I don't know if I've got the right drill bit or not. No, it needs to be wobbled out a little bit. I'll sit his down. Just a little bit more. No, still not quite. Rightio. And the next thing, we want to drill this out too, because this is just a bit of rubbish. I don't know if you can see that. Just put a bloody piece of shit in here to work. It's a curtain rod holder to work that lever. So I'm going to drill that out too. This is going to be more awkward because it's idiots. Right. If I'm lucky enough, I might be able to swap that off with the spare I've got. But I don't like that. We don't want to be using this piece of shit on here. So we got rid of that. Fancy drilling a hole through that. Put a rivet in there. That's the throttle. This is just going to catch on your clothes if you're getting on or off. On your leg or anything. This. Who'd put that on there? Right, so we'll fix that too. Bolts through stuff because we're going to use this as an earth. You want it as tight as possible. You don't want that loose at all. Alright, we'll get our nut. What have I done with that? So what's that to? Is that lever supposed to work? Maybe it's a deck. Yep, that is the deck. Hopefully my nut is not going to be in the way. I might have to cut that off a little bit. Alright, plug the earth back in. If I can see it. What's going on here? Right, that's the earth. Now I'll make sure this dent's not going to be in the way of touching that. No, it's going to clear it. That's good. Alright, let's see if it starts off the key. Sure does. See, it turns off by the key. Yep. Alright. This wire here is not very good. I'm going to cut that off and fix that. I just don't want to. The reason why I'm doing all this extra stuff here with the wire and that is that I don't want the next person have any problems with it. I want them to have a trouble-free mower. I've got heaps of terminals. Yeah, don't worry, they're a little mixed up. I've got one here. Them terminals are a little bit mixed up because I dropped them on the ground. That's why they're all stuffed up there. So what we'll do is we'll just cut it off. Get some wire strippers. Put in the crimp. And then we'll give it the dug test. It's all good. Let me clip it back on. And we're all done. Check the other ones too. This one here needs tightening, it's a bit loose. I'll show you how to tighten when you've got them a bit loose. What you need is that we can just use these, and what you do is you just squish it. The terminal, what inside the slide, we just want to bend them over a little bit. So carefully, just don't squish them too much. Just, don't know if you can see in there, I'll just squish them down. Then what you do then, you just clip it back on the plug. I have to move this because it went crammed in. And that's how you tighten the terminals, so they're solid. That way when you're going along, and I'll get some heat shrink for this, and we'll do that now. Alright, I've got some heat shrink here, a pair of scissors. What we need to do, cut ourselves off a little bit, disconnect this. Now to connect this back. Now, this is where the part is that's dangerous, is that we want to get an open flame here, and because we have a battery here that's in there, and most people would probably think, oh yeah, we could just use this little blowtorch around here, but the battery's got explosive gases in there, and I don't really feel like taking that chance. Don't hold it on the heat shrink for long, just enough to seal the joint. And that's it, done. We'll put our battery back in, take this out, whatever this junk is, this bungee cord. Looks like we've got washers in here too. I don't know if the washers are in there. What the washer was doing. And you're probably wondering too, how do you refill that soldering iron? Just with a can like this. What you do is you just stick it in the bottom here. That's how you refill them. Just like that. Just with some butane gas in a pressurised can. Alright. Stick that battery back in. Our lovely battery. This red black wiry, this is to a plug. They look like they've had a trickle charge on it once, whoever had the mower. Just remember at all times when you're working on stuff, if something's explosive, it could explode in your face. Don't go taking the chance and being lazy, because, you know, you could pay the price of waving a butane torch around an open flame like you know, if I didn't take this battery out. I mean, I don't know if that battery would explode. It probably would. I don't want my eyesight, I don't want to be blind. The simple thing of just taking it out instead of being lazy, I think it's a pretty cheap price to pay. Alright, charge them all on there. Make sure they're sitting downwards. To protect that, I could probably put a piece of heat shrink over this. I think it'll be right though. I don't think it will need it. Alright, now after I've done all that, I've stuffed around with it, we need to fix up the spark plug lead too, at the back. I'll show you that in a sec. Alright. Hope you can see it properly. But this is our problem. Let's see. Cut that off. It's not too bad. What we want to do is get a pair of pliers, because this thing wants to keep on coming off. So we want to make sure it clips on there. So we got it on here, and I've got a cap here off a piece of crap coil. I don't know how I'm going to go get it around that. How I'm going to force it in there. Looks like I'm going to have to make a bit of a sacrifice. It's only a crap coil cap. It's not like it's only off junk I was going to throw it out. Just want to put something on the end of it. Just to keep the water and stuff out of it. Just like that. Fits nice too. Nice tight fit. Keep the water out of it. Feels good too. Alright, now I've fixed the spark plug. Around here. The next thing to do is check the air cleaner. Just take the two butterflies off the top. Lift it off. Inside looks pretty good. Even the air cleaner itself looks good. Got a spider. Got a little bloody spider in here hiding. Don't know what he is. Might be a nasty one. It's a Briggs and Stratton air filter too. For some reason they got tape around it, which is weird. I don't know what the story is of that. Why would you put tape around it? Not too bad. We've got a bloody Rocky. That'd be nice if it made it inside the engine, wouldn't it? It'd be very nice. It looks pretty clean actually. Not too bad at all. And the air filter doesn't look too bad. If you want to wash these out, you can wash them out in petrol too. It's pretty good. I don't know why they put that tape around it, what that's trying to do, but they're just attracting stuff to get. I don't know what that was up to. And what I'll do is, I'll just put that back on there. I'll do it back up. You can wash them out in gasoline and in a small dish. Alright, let's put the nut back on it. Looks like a well taken care of mower. And you just put the lid. They're supposed to have a pre-filter around them too, a foam air filter. I'm not certain, I don't know what they had today, but if the other one's got it on or not, I don't think so either. But they do come with a pre-filter wrapped around that cartridge, just to keep the crap out of it. But yeah, you don't have to worry about them if it's in really dusty conditions. If it's in the, you mow just grass in yards and stuff, it's alright. But if it gets in the dust and stuff, it'll be, and you're done. And put the leads on it, fix the ignition, fix the wiring. Then it's good to go. Alright, now this is finished, we'll move on to the second mower that's got the ripped out pull starter. So I'll move this one out of the way, and I'll just give it an oil change too. I did notice as well, they've got this nice pipe on here that you can drain all at the back, so that's handy.